Hey, Liz here from the Modern Stitch Lab. Let's talk about bias binding. I've been quilting for several years and I've heard the term bias binding. I'm like, okay, bias binding. Does that mean that you can take a fat quarter and sew it into something and get a whole bunch of strips off of it? Wasn't really sure what it meant. Recently watched a video from Tula Pink on Tula Tuesdays about bias binding and why it was important. So, what is bias binding and why do I need it? Good thought. Winter times I would need it. Well, I'm going to use it all the time now because I learned a lot. And I started doing it recently and I'm like, hey, this is the thing. I had no clue. So my thought was, got the quilt squared up, got my binding on there, everything looks great. Then all of a sudden I got this corner that's just doing a weird thing. Like doesn't want to lay just flat and I'm ironing it down. I'm like, well, I wonder what happened there because it wasn't like that. It's square. Or then maybe I've got this little ripple along the edge here. Or maybe there's just a little funky spot here in the middle. It's not doubled over or anything, but it just doesn't want to lay just perfectly flat. And I'm like, what the heck? Here's why. Never thought about it like this. So I got a quilt top, I got a binding, and I got a backing. I'm going to sandwich those three together, and then I'm going to throw a fancy stitch around the top. As I do, I'm adding stress points. I might have the best block, the most square block ever sewn. When I start adding this design on top of it, it kind of pitches and pulls with the bias of the fabric. And so it adds a little tension in there. Well, if that tension can't get out to the edge or work its way out, it's going to stay where it is. Now, say I put a regular binding on this thing. It's the kind we've all been using for years. And I've cut it. I used 2 1/4 inch strips, right? Put this binding on here, put it around the outside edge of this quilt. This is a fixed perimeter, okay? If it's not on the bias, it is a hard stop on the outside of your quilt. This will show every flaw from the outside edge here to the outside edge of the binding here in between. Any kind of push, pull, twisty, turvy from the quilting itself is going to be captured in this perimeter of this regular binding. Now, say I come in here and I use a bias binding. Check this stuff out. Stretchy, easy peasy, stretchy. If I use my perimeter, not a fixed hard edge, but a flexible pretty edge, just like my regular stuff, if this outside perimeter is flexible, even 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, whatever is in here that's twisted up is going to flex to the edge of the quilt. You'll never see it. It'll work itself out to this. Think of it as a gateway for your buckly pieces to work itself out of the system. If I put a hard wooden fence around the outside, this stuff's going to float in the middle. But if I put a chain link fence with flexibility in there, guess what? It's going out. You're never going to see it in here. It's not going to get tracked. So just think of bias binding as your flexible fencing on the outside of your quilt for any kind of stitching irregularity that may occur. And that thing will lay flat and it'll be lovely. I'll put a video in here showing you a couple of different ways to do it because it took me a minute. I had to think about it. You know. But try it. I'm telling you, I'm hooked. So let's talk about regular binding. All right, normally I've got a piece of fabric. I'm going to fold it in half. I put my 2 selvage ends together, right? Just like regular old binding. And then I'm going to lay it down and cut it in my strips. That's regular binding. No give whatsoever. So maybe I said, okay, I'm going to turn it the other way and cut it. Guess what? No give whatsoever. The only way I'm going to make bias binding is if I find a way to cut this on a diagonal. So if I want to get that done, I got to figure out, okay, what's a good system to remember to do it? For me, I had to really think about it. So I'm going to take one of my selvage edges, okay, and I'm going to put it over here on my right hand side. So I did this one because it's white and I can see it. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to lay it over here on the right hand side. I've got this edge here on the bottom. So I'm going to take the corner furthest away from me, pull it in and just make a little triangle thing, right? And this furthest corner away, this is the other edge of that selvage. So I'm just going to flip it over, nothing fancy. Just make me a little triangle. Well, I know that I want to cut this on the diagonal, not up and down, left and right, because there's no bias. I don't get any flex. What I want is flex. So instead of this being my cutting edge, this little edge I just made is going to be my new cutting edge. So I'm going to take this and put it along the bottom, okay? And this will be my basis for cutting on this. So I've got this triangle. It's not a whole lot, is it? I'm gonna take this other triangle further, the further triangle away, and move it in. Look here. Match it up with that one. This little corner on the edge, I'm not gonna be able to make but a little strip of binding with it, right? So I'm gonna level this thing out. I'm gonna cut this corner off because I know I'm not gonna be able to really use it for anything. And like I said, I do mine at 2 1/4. I used to do 2 1/2, but for some reason I've been doing 2 1/4 for years and I'm just used to it. So I'm gonna cut this initial piece off, but look here. Look at the stretch in that, just where it was cut on the diagonal versus selvage to selvage, selvage to selvage. Big difference. Look at that. That's gonna let that quilt flex and let all that bumpy business work itself out. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm just gonna do 2 1/4 all the way across. And then I'm gonna stitch them together. Now, let me show you. I'm gonna do this one 2 1/2 because I'm gonna put it in something else. So, look at this. Flex. Lovely. Wonderful binding. Easy way to remember. I just put my selvage on the right. Say 3 o'clock, right? Selvage on the right. Furthest corner, left-hand corner, pull it down. Match it up to the edge. And I'm like, hey, I need a new edge. My new edge is going to be this little fold I just made. If I just need a few strips for a mini quilt, I won't worry about making more. I'll just use this little corner. But if I want more, left-hand corner comes down again, matches to this edge, lickety-split, cut up. All right, let's talk about stripe binding. Tula Bink has all these stripes. I love the stripe binding, but I always did it like straight up and down. Well, then when I watched the bias binding thing and started doing that, I'm like, hey, I can do like a barber pole thing. It looks pretty cool. So I thought, I think I'll try that. Same principle as before. I'm going to take my selvage edge, put it on my right-hand side down here on my cutting mat. I'm going to take the corner on the top left, fold it down. That's going to make my new cutting edge right here. So I'm going to spin this thing around, straighten this up here at the bottom, use this as my new 0 line to cut with. If I need more, I'm going to pull this thing in, match that edge, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it. Now, here's the thing about Tula Bink stripes, which I thought was really interesting. So when I go to line all these up together, she's a mathematical genius, by the way, on top of being a good quilter. She has her stripes set up to where, say I've got 2 pieces to sew together. If I line these edges up, right, together, and I line them right up, the black with the black or the white with the white, and I sew my 1/4 inch seam together to join these, guess what? They come out perfect. Perfect, like you never missed a stripe, like it's one continuous, beautimous piece of binding. She's a math genius, I'm telling you. So if you want a binding that looks like the barber pole, this right here, pretty slick. I'll show you one. Or let's talk about Tula stripe binding. So I did the stripe barber pole binding on this. Look at that. Now, I joined these 2 pieces together right here. Look at that. You can't even tell that's a stitch in there. It just looks easy peasy. All the way around. Comes together. Oh my goodness. Guess what? This thing is flatter than a flitter because I got the open fence on the outside. The flex fence. That's what it is. It's not solid. It's flexible because it's on the bias. Try it. I'm telling you, I am hooked. Get in the lab and make something cool.